Welcome to another episode of Al's Air Guns. Hey, today I wanted to talk about something a little different. It's a topic that actually viewers have brought up before, and we had talked about doing an episode on it. And I was working on my Daisy Red Ryder review and have been looking at the Daisy Owner's Manual as part of that. And I came across something that they always used to print along with their BB guns when I was a kid. And I think it bears going over. So if I can have your attention for a moment, it's the 10 shooting safety rules. Just in our family where, firearms were a working tool, before we got to use them on our own, or even starting young with BB guns, we had to memorize these things. And as I remember it, it was when I got my Daisy BB gun that I had to memorize them and be able to recite them for my dad and my grandpa before I was allowed to take off with it on my own. Now I could shoot that and other guns with adult supervision, but before I was trusted to run off with even a BB gun on my own, I had to recite the 10 shooting safety rules. And I think Daisy does a really good job spelling these out. So if I can have a moment of your time, I think this is important to share with young shooters. So if you have young people or even inexperienced people that you're trying to make familiar with the shooting sports, I think this is a great resource. Number 1, always keep the muzzle pointed in a safe direction. That can't be overstated. Never point the muzzle at something you're not willing to destroy. And never allow the muzzle to point at or cover another human. Obviously we're not using BB guns in self-defense, so there's absolutely no reason to point a BB gun at anyone or any air gun. And unless you're in very special circumstances, there's no reason to point any gun at another human being. But beyond that, don't let the muzzle cover or point at anything you're not willing to destroy, be it your big screen TV or whatever, because accidents happen. And if it's not pointing at something important, then it can't shoot anything important should it happen to discharge. Number 2, treat every gun as if it's loaded. That's the rule we were taught. Guns are always loaded. If someone hands you a gun and they assure you that it's unloaded, check it. And after you check it, still treat it as though it were loaded. Things happen. Sometimes, there's a saying, and I think it's true, 90% of people that are shot with unloaded weapons. I didn't know it was loaded. I swear I thought it wasn't loaded. And, treat every gun as though it's loaded, and you'll avoid mishaps. Number 3, only load or cock a gun when you're ready to shoot or when you're shooting. That goes without saying for a lot of people. Many people, for whatever reason, feel it's important to leave guns in a ready condition for immediate use. It takes seconds to load or cock a gun. And in the case, again, of air guns, we're not using them for self-defense, and there's no reason to leave them loaded and cocked because that's an accident waiting to happen. We could have inexperienced users get access to them. A number of things can happen. So there's no reason to load or cock the weapon or the air gun until you're ready to use it and to shoot it. Number 4 is important. A lot of people don't understand this or don't appreciate it enough, and that is be sure of your target and what's behind it. Sometimes we miss, and the projectile travels beyond the intended target, only to strike something behind it. Sometimes the projectile penetrates and goes through the target and strikes something behind it. Know what's behind your target and think about what would happen if a projectile did go past your target or through your target. That was number 4. Number 5, Anyone shooting near the shooter, on the line, observing, or generally involved should be wearing some form of eye protection. With air guns, we don't have to wear hearing protection like we're prone to having to do with firearms, but everybody should have eyes on or eye protection if they're in the shooting area or in any way involved, even on the periphery. Number 6, never climb or jump with a gun. Where I grew up hunting, it was in a farming community, so there were barbed wire fences ever so often. We had permission to be on the land. A lot of times it was even family land, but it had been partitioned into pastures and whatnot to where you had to cross fences or things like that. Unload your weapon or hand it, or your air gun, hand it to someone that's with you, or lie it on the ground, climb over and pick it back up. Don't climb with your air gun or any kind of firearm. Again, that's when accidents happen, things get dropped, and not everything has a drop safety. So again, hand it to someone else, lie it on the ground in a safe condition whenever you're climbing or going through fences over big obstacles or things like that. Number 7, avoid ricochets. Water can be a big source for ricochets. Don't shoot across the pond or at things on the pond and be surprised when the projectile bounces and ricochets off. Same can be said of concrete, ice, all kinds of things can produce a ricochet. Any hard, flat surface, and in that instance, water qualifies as a hard, flat surface. So avoid ricochets. Number 8, keep the muzzle clear. Especially when we're out in the field, you want to make sure nothing accidentally, inadvertently comes to block the muzzle. Mud, debris, things like that are probably the most common ones. In the indoor arena, potentially, a jam, something that's left in the barrel, cleaning rod, that kind of thing. But make sure the muzzle's unobstructed. Number 9. Guns not in use should be unloaded. And, particularly for air guns, again, there's no reason to keep them at the instant ready. So, when you're storing them, unload them. That way, again, should unauthorized users get their hands on them, inexperienced people, you're further away from the potential accident. Number 10, respect other people's property. And again, if we're training young people with BB guns, pellet guns, that kind of thing, hey, no shooting the neighbor's mailbox, no destroying other people's property. Lawn gnomes may look like a target, but they're not. Not unless you own them, you bought them, and you've got them on your range. So, respect other people's property. Anyway, they go into more detail on this and give reasoning behind each one. And to some of us that have shot for a while, or even perhaps to new people, some of this can seem a little trite maybe, but these rules are important. If you follow these rules, you'll enjoy the shooting sports and God willing, be blessed by no mishaps. And if mishaps do occur, if there is an accidental or negligent discharge, if the gun's not pointing at anything important, that discharge won't be regrettable in the sense of injuring someone or destroying property. So, good common sense. Hey, if you listened to this and stuck with me till now, thank you. I appreciate it. Appreciate your attention. And I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Take care.